I don't know if you've been keeping up in these YouTube streets and the world streets, but there's been a little kerfuffle here in Atlanta. Todd, do you want to talk a little bit about that? Want to warm them up?
Oh, man. A little kerfuffle there. I like to say, Fani, are you okay?
Fani, are you okay?
Fani, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay, Fani? Let me just tell you. Fani is obviously not okay.
Fani is not okay.
The saddest thing about Fani is that she got propped up by a bunch of, obviously, in my opinion, a bunch of false converts, a bunch of people in this dead and unconverted black church that has become basically a cesspool of just political ideology masquerading as Christianity.
Yeah.
This is a whole nother topic of discussion, but the vestige of the Martin Luther King model of Christianity. And it's amazing that I had to be in my 40s before I realized that Martin Luther King wasn't even a Christian, but that's another topic. And I know some of y'all might take exception to that.
You got some people upset right there, man.
Yeah, but see, it's exactly right on the nose, right? Because this is why the Fani Willises of the world, this is why they exist. And this is why they have so much support in the black church. Is because we have conflated political ideology and pursuits with Christianity. And the two are not the same thing, obviously, not even close to the same, not even the same kind of thing. You got cats, which are mammals, and dogs, which are mammals, and it's still similar to the same kind of thing. This is like cats and jellyfish, right? They're not even, we're talking about invertebrates and
I totally get you.
Not even the same kind of thing. So Fani Willis completely embarrassing herself, embarrassing black people, in my opinion, although I'm not going to say she speaks for me in any meaningful way. But Fani Willis has been a pawn for the Democrat Party, and she's embarrassing herself, and they put her up to basically, I think, a task that was never going to succeed in the first place. And now we're seeing how these people are being hand selected. I think they preferred the incompetent ones, to be quite honest, because they're easier to control, because the people who are competent are saying, I don't need you to succeed, so I'm not going to take your strings attached offer to, quote, boost my career and put me up to some task that probably is going to wreck me. I don't need that. I'm good. So I think the incompetent and the low-skilled people are ripe targets to be used. They're what they call useful idiots, and I think just walk right into their trap, and now she's being exposed.
I totally got you. I agree. No, I think you make some great points. Fani Willis is here in Atlanta. So right here in Fulton County, I'm in Cobb County. So just south of me. I'm finding it interesting, the pushback. I'm not hearing as much. She represents, not familiar. Fani Willis is on. She's currently in trouble because she's dating somebody who she hired against Trump here in Georgia. Though I don't feel like the case itself against Trump was solid. I don't know why they picked her, because it seems like an open secret that she was in this relationship with this man. And I think that's part of the setup, is that they picked her because she has a huge Achilles heel, a huge one, that there's no way to get over this. Because, I mean, there's a lot of impropriety right there. And the man is married. So she's single or divorced, or he's married. And it just seemed crazy, man. It just seemed like she was set up for that, set up to fail. And she did, which is fail. Thursday, she, her former boyfriend deposed for his role in the qualification trial.
Are they not together anymore? Oh, okay.
So, I mean, it is what it is. There's a lot of bad jokes that could be added. Well, a great question. Somebody asked, do you think we're going to add? So I found this young lady's TikTok, and I thought she was a fantastic summary of a lot of the things that people saw. And a lot of things encapsulated. Now, if you want, April did a bang up job on last night discussing this topic as well. So go check out April at the Standard of Truth podcast. She had a fantastic video on this topic as the role. But I think it's interesting. A lot of people, I'm just intrigued because I don't think men paid attention to a lot of the things that women saw in Fani. I think you know here. I don't think men pay attention to that stuff like that. Guys, we'll wear a wrinkly t-shirt and balled up jeans and don't care. But every woman I saw and recognized the same problem that this young lady do. But I just thought it was really interesting. And so I want to just check it out as you can hear it. So let's make sure it works right.
Willis hearing. Fani Willis is the district attorney from Fulton County.
Everybody can hear?
That was in a relationship with her special prosecutor, Nathan Wade. Why is she relevant? She became...
All right, can you hear that okay?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, so I'm going to back up as I always do. Just back up, give a running start. But I thought her summary of a lot of the things that we saw were good. And I want to bring them up. So... I want to let her talk it out. So let's go.
Some takeaways from my watching the Fani Willis hearing. Fani Willis is the district attorney from Fulton County that was in a relationship with her special prosecutor, Nathan Wade. Why is she relevant? She became a big deal because she's the district attorney that is prosecuting Donald Trump's voter fraud case. So here are my takeaways after watching this hearing for 2 days. The first takeaway is it's probably not a good idea to date contractors that you have hired. This proved to be a terrible idea, especially if you're trying to prosecute an ex-president of the United States.
And I just want to jump in because it seems pretty clear to me after reading up on this was an open secret. Like everybody knew that she was dating this guy. So it wasn't anything new, which I think is really telling. Again, I think she was set up to fail. So it can always fall back on her competence in this realm. But like, y'all knew she was messing with this guy and he was married, which we're not gonna even get into that because I'm like, great day. Like so stuff they were talking about, like, you gotta be kidding me. Like me and my own wife don't argue about this stuff. Y'all arguing and y'all ain't even married. That's crazy. It was wild. It's all get out. All right. Did you have anything you want to say before we competence?
You're prosecuting big names. You have to know that these people have resources and they're going to dig in your background as well. They don't just lay down when they have billions of dollars at their disposal. The second takeaway is if you don't have to be put under the microscope, why would you volunteer to go under the microscope?
This is something that I didn't realize. I think she's going to say it in a second. Fani was not wanted to come up and come to the witness stand. She wasn't being called. She wanted to come up and say, hey, record straight, because you said this, that, and the third, and I need to make. That's why I was like, when I turned it on and she was standing next to the cameraman, like, why is she standing there with her hand on her, looking really, she's going to say it in a second, earrings off. It was wild. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, what I was going to say was that I realized that it was political theater. It's, she off as defiant and confident. It was put on. I think she knows that she was being squeezed. And to her point, where she said, if you don't have to be put under the microscope, you want to avoid it. Well,
absolutely.
That's the case if you're in the clear.
Right.
If you're clearly painted into a corner and you're taking L's, then you're desperate and you start doing things that are basically Hail Marys. They're risky, thing that you can basically drum up a political theater to basically, it's a red herring. It kind of takes people off your scent.
Yes.
That's the only reason why you would do that, because if she was winning, then she would have never took the stand.
But it kind of goes to a point that this approach that I'm untouchable, and how dare you? Because Nathan, I watched testimony, he was fairly reasonable, and I was like, he wants you to like him. He wants the judge to like him, and though the prosecuting attorneys are his enemies, he was not trying to come across to them as bombastic or dare I say that they probably is. I see like, oh, That wasn't a bad guy. Maybe he's not as bad as we thought he was. That's the kind of way I would have approached it, but I'm not an attorney, so I don't play one on television. On the contrast, Fani, whatever, she didn't want you to like her. She said, you and your liking can get up out of here. I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to hire you and represent me this kind of way, yelling back at the attorney. You lied. It was wild.
I felt like I was just like, how come she's not in contempt? Like, are you supposed to be able to run up in the courtroom like you had some house party in the hood talking to some chick that was acting too nice to your man? Like, I don't understand how so less. And so it's like she's like, I don't know who she thought she was appealing to, but I thought it was a disgrace.
So I don't remember who it was. There were that wanted to, because we're here in Georgia. And I don't know if you noticed, but there were a lot of people who are less melanin in the courtroom. And there were few people in there of high melanin. So how I understood it, a lot of people were trying to do kid gloves because they know it's going to come back. Exactly. It's going to be the white man did this to the black woman, blah, 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 blah. And so they were trying their best to not do that. And when there's a part where the Trump attorney, he's a man, her about relationships with Nathan. And she said, because of his cancer, that would be, that's a preposterous proposition. He said, what? I will not emasculate a black man. And he's like, what are you talking? You hear it when he replied back. He said, what? Like, I could hear him probably using profanity in his mind. Like, what are you talking about? She made it racial after she just said, I had ED because of his cancer. Like, like you brought that up. And please understand, everybody knows this now because of you. Nobody else did that. And you can see it even with like relationships. And any other time when they were trying to say, has he ever been in a place where you laid your head? They were trying their very best. So that's what I think happened, because she is the DA of Georgia, for crying out loud. She's pretty powerful. So I think
just on that point though, here's the thing. I've been, and I just, for those who are watching, you can go check the timeline. I've been on this.
You've been in jail? Oh.
No. I've been on this for a long time. Why the left loves black women.
Oh, for sure.
It's precisely for that reason that they can put all kinds of nonsense in their mouth. They can put a battery in their back, and these people, they can go out and say the most absurd and irrational and implausible things. And if you respond to them and treat the idiocy with the disrespect it deserves, now you're attacking a black woman.
Yeah.
And that's always the defense, right? Nothing on this, right? But this is why they prefer. It's like I used this one example. I don't know if it's I used to watch Austin Powers. I don't know if we're into the Office movies.
Not really, but
comment, Jason. But anyway, there's this great scene in Austin Powers where at the beginning he's talking to his female protagonist, and she's like, "Austin, we have to go find Dr. Evil." And he goes, "I've got an idea." Turns as a woman in the face. Right? And he's like, "Oh, why did you punch that woman in?" "Yeah, that woman, it's a man. Right? And so the idea was, so they set it up like that, right? They set it up like that, but later on in the film, he did it again, and it was an actual woman. It was an old lady.
No.
So he punches this old lady in the face. And so the point is that if you punch somebody in the face, and because you think that they're a wolf in sheep's clothing, or you think they're posing as something that they aren't, what's actually what you think, right? And that's why they like to put their ideas in the mouths of people who can be perceived as victims or vulnerable, so that you are reticent to them.
I like it. I got you.
What they are effectively wolves in sheep's clothing. And so you need to have discernment to know the difference between an actual person who you need to treat with some sort of dignity and respect, and a person who's fraudulent and they need to be punched in the face.
I did not see that one coming. Thank you, Todd.
Yeah, you didn't see that.
I did not see that coming. All right, let's see this. Let's see where this young lady's going.
At the point When Miss Willis entered the courtroom, it was not determined that she had to testify. She wanted to. She entered the courtroom like she was about to throw hands up. And I'm like, really? This is not a good look already. So the whole goal was to get in there and stand on business and let the world know that I'm running. Not really. In efforts to prove the timeline, not her innocence, because she admitted to having sex with Nathan Wade, but she got up there and just started running her mouth. And as a prosecutor herself, she knows that's a gift. It's a gift.
And I want to say that as well. She would not answer questions, whatever.
No.
Let me explain. Like, and of course, the prosecutor's not going to stop her. And I think even at one point, her own attorney said, I object. She said, I object to you. What is going on here? It was wild, man.
Unbelievable.
When you're a prosecutor, not when you're sitting and testifying in a hearing about yourself. I saw a lot of TikTok videos where people was like, yeah, she got up there. She told them she stood on business. Yeah, did you hear her? Yeah, she didn't pull no punches, blah, blah, blah.
Okay. And to the point, I think for her downfall, somebody asked you, I think she's going to get disbarred. I don't know, but what she's about to say right here, to think that maybe she will. And it's 100% Fani's own fault.
Yeah.
Like, nobody made her do this. Watch what she says.
But I just wondered if those people heard her say that she took money from her campaign, took cash, and put it in her house. Did they miss that?
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Right. And guess what? Nathan did too. Nathan did the same thing.
Really?
Yeah, Nathan. Well, Nathan's was actually different. Nathan said he used his business credit card to buy trips. And you can do that. Like, the accountant can separate your business expenses from your personal use of your business card. Not a problem there. But what did he say she did? Come back. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And so the attorney said, well, is there like a deposit in your bank account showing that she paid you, $2,000 or, $1,500 or whatever like that? What did he spend it? On what? I don't know. So we'll just assume that he spent it just as like living expenses. You can't do that. So they both, so to the one question, do I think they're going to get disbarred? Sadly, I think they are. I think this will be the linchpin, because and Fani did one more thing too that I think, in my mind, I don't know, I'm not a lawyer or anything of that nature. I don't really have a dog in the race. But Fani did one more thing too that I think it's going to be hard for you to not at least get some kind of injunction, some kind of fines, or maybe even lose you to do this job. But go ahead.
What I'm going to say is, with respect to all of this stuff, I think it's important to remember that this whole thing is a Hail Mary. The whole Trump prosecution is a Hail Mary. And I think that they knew that even in the best of circumstances, the chances of winning were very low. So think about the sort of person that would be willing to take that on.
Yeah.
Like, basically a very low percentage, a lot of successful people are going to be like, yeah, I'm going to put that blemish on my record. Remember that line, the famous line, I think it was from The Wire. I've never watched the show, but people always talk about
watching the craziest stuff, man. I've
never watched it. I never watched it, but
The Wire.
It's something that's been repeated. If you come at the king, miss.
Okay.
You ever heard that line?
I have not, but I can dig it.
Yeah. So basically, if you go after the king, you best not miss. So, like, who's the sort of person that would be willing to take that risk? Somebody who's at a level where basically it's all upside for them. And that means that's even a loss would be a win.
It would be a win, yeah.
So
Okay.
that's how I think Fani really got wrapped into it. Didn't have, apparently, I don't think, the talent and the ability to rise up. They hooked her with this clown show lawsuit.
Okay.
And she fell for it. And now she might be not able to practice at all. But that's what was, if you think about it, only someone in her situation would have even considered it. Who else would take that blemish on their record?
I mean, I can see what you're saying. Okay. You know what?
So, Trump is guilty.
I mean,
that's a whole nother.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's not, what is it? It's whether or not you can prove he's guilty. Is that,
Can I say this?
somebody said it.
Jason,
Nino Brown did. I don't know. Somebody said it.
Yeah. Can I just say this because I something that most people don't know. This is very interesting because I was talking to my father-in-law some months ago, and he didn't know anything about this. The U.S. election at State Farm, they stopped voting.
Counting. Mm-hmm.
What was the reason they stopped? Do you recall?
I don't remember now, but I woke up the next morning and Nikki wasn't there.
Right. So they stopped counting because they said a pipe burst in State Farm Arena, and said to kind of get the people out of there so that they could deal with the burst pipe.
Okay.
That never happened. That never happened. I covered it on my channel. You can go to it and look back in 2020. I covered the whole story. That was a lie. The pipe burst, and it was a pipe leak. It wasn't a pipe burst. It was a minor thing, and it happened the previous day.
Okay.
That was their reason for saying that they needed to stop counting. Then they told the people, well, go home. We've done counting for the night. And then when all the poll watchers left, they kept counting. Now think about that. Think about that. Those are documented facts. And I say that to say because Sheila Mahone saying Trump is guilty. What not know and they don't understand is that there were very, very good reasons to think we're afoot on the night of the election in Atlanta in particular.
Right.
So that's my whole point. My whole point is that they lied about the reason they stopped counting. They lied that they were going to stop counting after they sent the poll watchers home. Why would you do that? It was on the up and up. Now that's not a smoking gun, but if you're going to say that Donald Trump was guilty of trying to gin up false votes and he had no reason to think that there was something fraudulent going on, I'll just say you just don't know what you're talking about. Because that
okay.
Anyway.
No, that's good. I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep it going.
They know that's not legal, right? The third takeaway that I learned is if you have a public position, you don't have a private life. It's not a great idea to testify that you didn't know the code of ethics. As a district attorney and an attorney, I think she should know that ignorance is no defense.
Right. And that's the other part that I think that's gonna get her in deep soup. They ask her, let them know, because you're having an affair with or a relationship with a subordinate is no go. But apparently, at least declare it, hey, I'm CEO man, and I'm dating the secretary. You can let it be known. And I guess it's not as bad. I don't know. That's what I was, but apparently. She made it sound like she didn't know. Oh no, no. So that's why I think to answer Person's question, I do think that she's gonna have her 2024 for sure. If she gets out of it unscathed, I would be really surprised. We already see what happened to the DA Maryland. Very similar situation. But I don't know if she was as bombastic. But a very similar situation. I don't know if just my 2 cents.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you got anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay.
Thing is, you can't say that your relationship wasn't hidden, that it was just private. It's not private when the person that you're in the relationship has a whole damn wife.
Oh.
Not just a wife, but a wife that's in the middle of a divorce with income disclosures.
Yeah, and that part right there was so for him. We functionally were divorced, but we were on paper.
Come on.
Yeah,
that was so pathetic.
It was
pathetic. Yeah.
All right, let us go.
Not divorced. It came out yesterday that their divorce has not been filed.
The other part, you ain't halfway divorced, because he tried to put some years behind it. If I'm not mistaken, don't quote me on that. It was 5 years that he had said we've been functionally divorced for like 5 years. But you haven't gotten divorced yet, sir. There's the problem. You've not gotten divorced. All right.
The fourth takeaway I learned is you could take a person out the hood, but you always can't get the hood out that person. Why do I say that? Because there are a lot of law degrees on the line right now. There's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears put into getting those law degrees and passing that damn bar exam. And you're getting up there on the stand and putting all that at risk. Terrence Bradley was the partner of Nathan Wade in the law firm.
All right, this is another one. I actually forgot this one. So this is yet why I don't think Nathan's going to come out unscathed, even though I think he probably won't be as bad as Fani, in my opinion. But this is another thing. I totally forgot about this. Were you trying to give her an air horn? I know.
Oh no, I was just saying how I just thought it was interesting. Fani, however you say it,
right.
She told him off as completely like just like hood. Like I'm just like, come on, you up here, you talking to these white folks?
Boy, you out of control. You out of control.
Sounding ghetto and tacky. Like I don't understand. Like you don't understand. Like even if that's how you talk amongst your folks, which it's not. It's like,
she
like,
knows how to, but she did. She was upset. There's no question about it.
She probably pandered. She probably thinking that earned her some hood points.
Well, yeah, but the problem is you're going to need them hood points. You're going to need them when you go back, when you get sent back there. Hey, Todd, in the chat, can you drop your link for your YouTube channel?
Oh, sure.
I meant to ask people to make sure they check you out as well. Especially since you done told them all this bad stuff so they can go over to your channel and fuss at you. All right, they can come over there and fuss at you. I'm about to go to bed. All right, let's keep this game rolling. Let's go.
So they got him up on the stand and eviscerated and they're not done. He tried to bring that code of silence, no snitching rule under the guise of attorney-client privilege. He tried to bring that up on the stand and they cornered that. Bruh, you at risk for perjury. They're not done with you. It was effortless. It was effortless the way they got it. They asked him if he was the attorney that did Nathan Wade's papers. He said yes. Yes, he was. And he had been asserting attorney-client privilege from 2017, 2018. The defense was not going for that broad right there. Those broad dates in that wide open space. They wasn't going for that. So they said, what date did you sign the engagement? I don't know. You don't know when you took on a new client, how much you charged the new client for the divorce? Nope. I don't have it in front of me. We in a digital world, dude. We're in a digital world. And you're an attorney too? I don't know who the hell been hiring you. But they got his. So then they go on to say, okay, you don't know the dates. How much did you make? How much did you invoice Nathan Wade for your services for the divorce? I don't know. So now it looks like he perjured himself because he said in earlier testimony that he left that law firm due to something that falls under attorney-client privilege, and it had to do with Nathan Wade's divorce, which is not true. We know that's not true because Nathan Wade is still married. That came out yesterday, late in the afternoon. And the other part is the state got up and said, have you been accused of sexual assault by an employee at the law firm? So he admitted that he did do that, and he said that he left because of that. And he had left $20,000 in escrow. And they asked him, did he pay her off, the employee? And first he said no, he didn't pay her off. And they said, okay, so you just left the law firm with $20,000 in escrow. Is that right? Which didn't make any damn sense, so, they had him. Then he finally admitted that he paid her off for the sexual assault. Now you're probably like, what the hell does this have to do with Fani Willis? Okay, so now that they got him to admit that, and then a second person came forward, they had her ready to testify, but he had already got off the stand. So I don't know what's going to happen with that next week. But because he admitted that he didn't leave the law firm because of something related to Nathan Wade's divorce, next week they're going to figure out if they're going to make him testify about what he really knows about Fani Willis and Nathan Wade's relationship, because there is no attorney-client privilege as it seems right now. Also, there's no engagement. There's no agreement where he signed on as the attorney. So I don't know what's going to happen next week.
That was long, but the summation is that gentleman was not Nathan's attorney for his divorce. Because also, if you did the math, 2017, dude, it's been 7 years. Like, what's going on? So, I mean, that already is problematic. But I think the big issue is that he now has somebody else who can very well have to be grilled on the stand in order to talk about their relationship, which already seemed like it was way out of pocket. They were doing wrong things and coming back to bite them. But what you think?
I think that first of all, this lady, whoever she's an attorney.
Actually, she's a corporate coach. I found her TikTok. I mean, she's here, like she knows what she's talking about clearly. Yeah. But I'll have to find her again. But I found her on TikTok, corporate coach, career coach. Sorry, but she seemed to know what she's talking about. So, and take this with a grain of salt.
Right.
What were you?
No, I just thought her. I thought she gave what I would call cogent analysis. Yes, cogent analysis for sure. I thought that was thorough, and obviously I didn't have time to watch the details closely. Fanning herself and trying to come off as someone who was defiant and in control of the process when she clearly is desperate. And on her last leg, she at a minimum will be disgraced and be removed from processing or prosecuting Trump in this case. Basically, throw a monkey wrench all of their plans, much to the chagrin of our guest here in the chat, who seems to be very anti-Trump. He's going to be president again, barring issues. The point is that she's lost. It's over, and I think that even every honest person. And I think this is the same point. Here we are talking about Fani Willis, and people are talking about Trump. Even if everything you're saying about Trump is true, that doesn't have anything to do with Fani Willis. Is over, right? And I think that honest people can just acknowledge that. What Fani Willis did was unethical herself, and about the brushes of what's going on, but generally speaking, what happens to Trump happens to Trump. Fani Willis is a dishonest person, and she played herself.
No, I agree with you. I agree. Yeah, she's also prosecuting a racketeering street gang here in Atlanta, and she actually served up a great excuse when she said how much money she keeps in her house, because that was part of the problem, was that this was a rap group that dealt with a lot of cash. She literally said, I don't even know how much money I got in my house.
I got to tell you, I thought she was snitching on herself in a different. I'm just like, you trying to tell all the thugs to come to your house?
Well, yeah, there's that problem. There's that problem too. Yeah. She does. Yeah, it was like, are you for? I got 20,000. Like, no, ma'am, stop this, please stop.
Like, you want the whole hood to be at your crib, like run the June, Fanny.
Junebug is on his way. All right, let's go.
I know I went off on a tangent, but I guess my point is all that keeping it real. Some you gotta leave behind. Okay. Yeah. I ain't say forget where you came from, but that still ain't for you, because now you in different spaces and everything you work for is on the line, and not in a good way.
Right.
Oh yeah. And Nathan Wade is on the line because they got him for perjury already. Terrence Bradley got up there and contradicted him with the credit card use. The fifth takeaway is do not use business credit cards for personal use and then tell the world about it. So Nathan Wade and Fani both testified in this hearing that Nathan Wade purchased tickets on the business credit card, and then she reimbursed him in cash. So their stories are aligning, because obviously they talked about it, and they trying to cover themselves because they're more slicker than my man Rick. No. So all those people that felt like, yeah, she went in there and stood on business. Yeah, she went in there and stood on the wrong side of business.
Yes, she did.
Because when you use business credit cards, it should be for business. They said they used it for a trip for his birthday because she had such a terrible 50th birthday. She wanted him to have a great birthday, and he had a cancer diagnosis and blah, blah, blah. But they used the business credit card, and then she reimbursed him in cash, not giving up those records, right? So yeah, she stood on business. We just not sure what side of the business. Talk of tax evasion, right? And then here's the other thing. Nathan Wade testified he never, ever used any credit cards belonging to Terrence Bradley. Terrence Bradley got up there. Nathan Wade did use his credit cards. And the sixth takeaway wasn't a huge takeaway for me, because I know to wear a bra when I'm coming outside. I know that. So I look forward to next week to see what else happens.
My gosh, man, that was wild. But I agree with her, man. I think she summarized, as you said, she had a very coherent and cogent breakdown. I thought it was pretty good.
I like it.
But I think most guys picked up the whole the whole undergarment discussion. Everybody mentioned it were women. I didn't even notice it. I didn't notice it until April said it to me, and I was like,
I think it'd be weird. You did notice it there, Jason.
Well, there's that. I'm like, I don't know what are you talking about?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna. I don't want to see it. So I'm just like, now I need to be like, how did they know that? All right. Yeah, it's bizarre. I think, listen, this is one of the big reasons why I started my channel. Black people, we have to learn how to separate the truth and stand on the right side of the truth rather than have your melanin count. We've got to get past that. We have to get past that. That's how getting ourselves in whole, ethnically, financially, socially, all of these things. We got to be able to be the sort of people who have the sort of integrity, and particularly black people in church, because you can't expect to hold the world to the same account, right? But I feel like the black church in particular. Where was the first place that Fani Willis ran when she wanted to try to hide and justify her dirt?
Hey, you know what? Because I want to jump in real quick and say something. We need to do a compilation of disgraced politicians speaking from pulpits. I like to call it spiritual money laundering, because they go, they take their bad, as soon as they get in trouble, Fani ran Bethel AME, as soon as they get in trouble, politicians run to a black church to speak from the young lady in Maryland did it. I want to say Tiffany Henyard up in Illinois did it. The one in Michigan, the mayor in Michigan that was wilding out. They run to the black church to rehabilitate their persona, to rehabilitate their character, so to speak. And he sat in there and said all this stuff was a lie. She was saying that she did not have a relationship with Nathan Wade like that. I didn't mean to cut you off, but no. I want to do a spiritual money laundering episode where we just highlight everybody who has done this, and just maybe even do like a follow-up, like where did they end up? In jail or wherever, disbarred. But I think it would be really interesting to do.
I love pop culture movie references. The Winter Soldier, Marvel. I don't know have you seen that movie? Please tell me.
Yes, I did.
Let me give you a round of applause right there. Let me give you a little love here. Hang on a second. I gotta find my button here. There we go. So the Winter Soldier, the Winter Soldier is an interesting metaphor. That basically Hydra, the evil organization, controlling his mind, but he was really a good guy. when they would do that little thing, that little mind control thing, he'd go into this murderous controlling him. And then his friend, Captain America, Cap, basically had to fight his friend Bucky to snap him out of it.
Right.
So that's how I feel. That's my relationship with the black community and the black church in particular. I feel like I'm Captain America to the Winter Soldier. I'm fighting you, but I'm not fighting you because I think you're the enemy. I'm fighting you because I'm trying to get you to understand
I like it.
that there's an evil organization controlling your mind.
Wow.
They're controlling your mind. And all they got to do is racism, and you put up with, drag queen story hour and all types of lies and all types of wickedness, and you voting to put these people in power that got the middle finger to the heaven because you say you standing with black people. It's a lie. So I'm Captain America to the black church's Winter Soldier.
I got you.
I'm only fighting. I'm not fighting you to hurt you. I'm fighting you because I need you to snap out of it, and hopefully we get you back on moment. But that's the analogy.
I can dig that. I can dig that. You're giving them a lot of grace. I think that the black church has been compromised for quite some time, and I do think we still need to fight for them. But I do think we also need to recognize that they have been given over into part or in whole to ideologies that are contrary to Scripture. And there are other melanin groups as well, but that have issues. We're not just picking on black folk, but
right.
I think we're speaking about black folk, one, because we are black, but two, there's not many other churches that we define like we define black church. You don't call Hispanic church or white church or Asian church. Anything, church is just its own special animal. So that's why we talk about it. But yeah, I like that analogy. That's a good one.
Yeah. I do think just to say one thing about the reason why I said earlier that I wanted to speak to Bishop Patrick Wooden, because he is still a part of the black church, and
for sure.
Church of God in Christ is the largest black church in America. Maybe
I think it's the world.
Yeah. So I basically got saved in the Church of God in Christ.
Okay.
I hadn't been in the Church of God in Christ since I was maybe 27, 28 years old. Like my sister is still there, and her husband's a pastor. And I still know a lot of people who love God.
Absolutely.
But their chamber is enormous and strong, that it's type of mind control. And it's like a Herculean effort to get the people to snap out of it. But I think the proceedings in the last few years, I have experience of the last 4 years where we got sanity of the far left and wokeness, devoted to basically you play a similar role to the general woke Christian, right?
I like it.
You play a similar role,
Christian.
Yeah. So we're trying to snap these people out of it because there's some of them are either or just unregenerate. We do understand that. But there's still some people in there that deceived, but that are in the faith. We got to get those people pulling in the right direction.